The cry no one cared about. The sky above planet Virex 9 was always dark. Thick black clouds covered the stars. Red lightning moved inside them like angry veins. The air smelled like metal and smoke. It was not a world for soft things. It was not a world for weakness. On the high stone cliffs, dragon eggs were breaking. Huge dragon hatchlings were crawling out of their shells. Some were strong. Some were loud. Some already showed small sparks of fire in their mouths. The elder dragons watched from above. They did not help. They did not protect. On this planet, only the strong survived. If a hatchling could not stand on its own, it was left behind. One egg, smaller than the others, cracked slowly. The shell broke unevenly. A tiny dragon fell out onto the cold black stone. It was thin. Its scales were not bright red like the others. They were dark silver with a soft blue shine under them. Its wings were weak. One of them bent at a strange angle. The other hatchlings pushed past it. Some stepped on it. None stopped. The small dragon tried to stand. It failed. It tried again. It fell. Above, a large shadow passed over the cliff. A massive female dragon landed. Her wings were torn from old battles. Her eyes were hard like stone. She looked at the hatchlings. She looked at the small one. She did not move. The small dragon made a sound. Not a roar. Not a growl. It was a cry. Soft. Broken. Like a lost child. The wind carried the sound across the cliffs. Other dragons heard it. They turned away. A weak dragon was not their problem. The cry came again. Quieter this time. The mother dragon stared for a long moment. Then she opened her wings and flew away. She left it behind. The small dragon watched her disappear into the dark sky. It did not understand. Its body was shaking from cold. Its eyes slowly opened wider. They were not red. They were glowing blue. Far below the cliffs, near the metal mining station, humans were working. Large machines drilled into the planet's surface. Sparks flew into the air. Engines roared loudly. Inside the station, Elias Morgan wiped sweat from his forehead. He was not a soldier. He was not important. He was just a repair engineer. He fixed broken machines. He checked power lines. He stayed out of trouble. Most humans on Virex 9 avoided the dragons. There was an agreement. Humans mined in their area. Dragons ruled the skies. No one crossed the line. Elias preferred it that way. Suddenly, he paused. He heard something strange. At first, he thought it was metal bending in the wind. Then he heard again. A sound. Soft. Faint. Almost like crying. He looked around the noisy control room. No one else reacted. The machines were too loud. He shook his head. Just the wind, he muttered. He went back to work. On the cliff above, the small dragon tried to move again. Its tiny claws scratched against the stone. Its wing hurt badly. The sky rumbled. A storm was coming. Cold rain began to fall. The small dragon cried again. But this time, the sound changed. It was no longer just a cry. It formed a shape. A word. Very soft. Very weak. Help! The word disappeared into the wind. Inside the station, Elias froze. He dropped his tool. He was sure now. That was not metal. That was not wind. That was a voice. And it was speaking human language. He looked at the other workers. They were laughing. Talking. No one heard it. He swallowed slowly. That's not possible, he whispered. Dragons did not speak human words. Especially not hatchlings. The sound came again. Clearer this time. Help, please. Elias felt his heart beat faster. The voice was not inside the station. It was outside. From the cliffs. From dragon territory. His mind told him to ignore it. Humans who crossed into dragon lands did not come back. He walked toward the window. Lightning flashed across the sky. For a second, he saw the high cliff above. Small shapes moved there. Then darkness again. The voice came one more time. Weaker. Fading. Don't leave. Elias felt something heavy in his chest. He had lived on Virex 9 for 3 years. He had heard dragons roar. He had heard them burn ships from the sky. But he had never heard one sound afraid. This was not a roar. This was not a threat. It sounded like a child. He grabbed his jacket. One of the workers looked at him. Shift's not over, the man said. Elias forced a small smile. I need air. The man shrugged. Outside, the wind hit Elias hard. Rain soaked his clothes instantly. He looked up at the cliffs. They looked taller at night. More dangerous. Lightning flashed again, and for just 1 second, he saw it. A small shape lying alone on the stone, not moving much. Another flash, and he saw something else. A massive shadow standing behind it. Watching. Waiting. Elias's breathing slowed. The small shape lifted its head slightly. Even from far away, he could see it. Two blue lights glowing in the dark, looking straight at him. Then the final whisper came. Clear. Soft. Human. Help me. The shadow behind the hatchling moved. Large wings opened. The storm grew louder, and Elias realized something terrifying. He was not the only one who heard that word, and whatever stood behind the hatchling was still there, watching. The human who shouldn't care. Elias did not move for a long time. Rain hit his face. Wind pushed against him, but his eyes stayed locked on the cliff. Those blue glowing eyes were still there, watching him, waiting. Then lightning flashed again. The massive shadow behind the hatchling stepped forward. It was enormous. Black scales, golden scars across its chest, eyes like burning fire. The mother dragon. She lowered her head toward the small hatchling. Elias stopped breathing. This is where it ends, he whispered. The mother opened her mouth. Smoke rose between her teeth, but she did not burn it. She did not protect it either. She simply stared at it. Cold. Empty. The hatchling tried to crawl toward her. Its injured wing dragged across the stone. It made a small sound again. Not loud. Not strong. Just scared. Please. The word broke in the wind. The mother dragon's eyes flickered once. Then she turned away. Slowly. Powerfully. She opened her wings and flew into the storm. She left it behind. Again, Elias felt something twist inside his chest. He had seen soldiers abandon wounded men in war. He had seen commanders make cold choices. But this felt worse. This was a mother. The small dragon collapsed fully onto the stone. Its blue eyes dimmed. The storm grew stronger. Elias stepped back. His mind screamed at him. Do not go there. This is dragon territory. You are nothing here. He turned toward the station door. He took one step. Then he heard it again. Closer this time. Not carried by wind. Not distant. Right behind him. Why won't anyone hear me? Elias spun around. No one was there. The voice was not outside. It was inside his head. His hands began to shake. That's impossible, he said under his breath. Dragons did not speak inside human minds, especially newborn dragons. The voice came again. Softer now. You heard me. 3 simple words. But they hit harder than any roar. Elias closed his eyes tightly. He could walk away. No one would blame him. No one even knew. It was not his world. Not his species. Not his problem. He was just an engineer. He fixed machines. He did not save monsters. Lightning split the sky again. This time he saw something new. 3 large dragon shapes circling high above the cliff. Not the mother. These were hunters. Their wings cut through the storm like knives. They were not coming to protect. They were coming to judge. And weak dragons did not pass judgment. They were erased. Elias opened his eyes. The blue lights on the cliff were almost gone now. Fading. Like a dying star. If I walk away, he whispered, it dies. The voice answered. Yes. No fear in it now. Just truth. Elias felt something change inside him. Not bravery. Not heroism. Just anger. Anger at the sky. Anger at the cold rules of this world. Anger at how easy it was for everyone to ignore pain. You don't even know me, he said quietly. The reply was simple. You stopped. That was all. Not you are strong. Not you are special. Just, you stopped. Above, the hunter dragons began to descend. The storm seemed to move with them. Elias looked at the station behind him. Warm lights. Safe walls. Human voices. He looked back at the cliff. Darkness. Death. Blue fading light. He made a choice, and he knew it would change everything. He ran, not away from the cliff, toward it. Rain made the rocks slippery. Wind pushed against his body. Sirens from the station began to ring. Security systems detected dragon movement. A loud voice echoed from speakers. Warning. Dragon activity detected. All personnel remain inside. Elias ignored it. Each step closer made his heart pound harder. The hunters were almost landing now. Huge claws reaching toward the small body. The hatchling did not move anymore. Its eyes were half closed. Elias climbed the final sharp rocks. His hands cut on the stone. He pulled himself onto the cliff. And for the first time, he stood inside dragon territory. One of the hunters landed. The ground shook. Its massive head turned toward him slowly. Golden eyes locked on a human. There was silence. Even the storm felt quiet for a second. The hunter dragon growled. Low. Dangerous. A warning. Elias's legs trembled, but he did not step back. He walked forward instead. One step, then another. He reached the small dragon. It felt colder than the rain. Its breathing was weak. Its blue eyes flickered open slightly. You came, it whispered inside his mind. Behind him, the hunter dragon opened its wings wide, preparing to strike. Elias did something no human had done before. He knelt and placed his body between the hunter and the hatchling. His voice was shaking, but clear. If you want it, he said, you go through me. The hunter dragon froze, not because of fear, but confusion. Humans did not protect dragons, especially not weak ones. The other hunters landed beside it. 3 massive creatures, 1 fragile human. Lightning exploded across the sky. For a second, everything turned white. And in that white light, the hatchling's eyes suddenly burned brighter. Deep, brilliant. Blue fire began to form between its tiny teeth. Not red, not orange, blue. The hunters stepped back slightly. They recognized that color. Even Elias could feel it. This was not weakness. This was something else. Something ancient. Something dangerous. The hatchling whispered one final line before losing strength again. They fear me. The blue light pulsed once, and far above the storm clouds, something answered. The law of the strong. The blue light did not fade. It spread, not like normal fire, not wild, not burning. It moved like quiet lightning across the small dragon's body. The 300 dragons stepped back at the same time. They were ancient creatures. They had seen war. They had seen kings fall, but they had not seen that color in hundreds of years. Blue flame. The storm above the cliff stopped moving. The wind slowed. Even the rain seemed to freeze in the air. Elias was still kneeling in front of the hatchling. His heart was beating so loud he could hear it in his ears. He did not understand what was happening, but the hunters did. One of them lowered its massive head. Its voice entered Elias's mind without warning. This one should not exist. The words were heavy, cold. Elias swallowed. It's just a baby, he said out loud, though his voice shook. The dragon's golden eye narrowed. There are no just babies in our kind. Behind them, the clouds split open. A deep sound rolled across the sky. Not thunder. Something deeper, like the planet itself was breathing. The hatchling's blue eyes opened fully now. They were not weak anymore. They were calm. Too calm. It slowly lifted its head from a stone. Its broken wing still hung badly. Its body was small, but the air around it felt different, heavy. The second hunter dragon growled. We must end it now. It stepped forward. Elias stood up quickly, spreading his arms again. You said it should not exist, he said. Why? The dragons ignored his question. To them, humans were noise. But the hatchling spoke first. Not weak, not scared. Clear. Because I remember. All 3 hunters froze. Elias felt the words inside his skull like a shockwave. Remember what? He whispered. The small dragon slowly pushed itself up onto shaking legs. I remember before the burning. Images suddenly exploded inside Elias's mind. He saw dragons flying beside human ships. He saw blue fire lighting the sky, not destroying cities but powering them. He saw humans and dragons standing together, not enemies, allies. Then the images changed. Fire, war, betrayal, a sky filled with falling ships, red flames replacing blue. The vision ended. Elias gasped and fell to one knee. The hunter dragons were completely still. One finally spoke again. That knowledge was erased. The hatchling's blue glow pulsed. You failed. The words were small, but powerful. A new presence entered the cliff. A massive shadow blocked the lightning above. The mother dragon returned. She landed slowly behind the hunters. The ground cracked under her weight. Her eyes were no longer cold. They were uncertain. She looked at the hatchling, then at Elias, then back at the blue flame flickering between the baby's teeth. The law of the strong, she said into all their minds, exists to protect our future. The first hunter responded quickly. This one threatens it. The mother dragon stepped closer. And if the law is wrong, silence. Even the storm did not move. Elias looked at her in shock. She was questioning her own kind. That was dangerous. Very dangerous. The hunter dragon growled louder. The council will decide. At the word council, the air itself seemed to tighten. The dragon council ruled all. Older than any empire. Stronger than any army. They did not forgive mistakes. And they did not fear humans. The hatchling looked up at its mother. You left me, it said softly. The mother did not deny it. Yes. What? Her answer was simple. Because I was afraid. That word felt heavier than any roar. Afraid. Not of weakness. Not of death. Afraid of what the hatchling might become. The hunters spread their wings. This ends now, one said, before the council senses it fully. But it was too late. Far above the storm clouds, the sky began to glow faint red. Not lightning. Something else. Ancient symbols formed inside the clouds. Large. Burning. Watching. The council had felt it. The blue flame grew brighter. Not out of anger. Not out of fear. Out of awakening. Elias stepped closer to the hatchling. What are they going to do? He whispered. The small dragon answered quietly. They will call me a mistake. The red symbols in the sky pulsed once. A deep voice rolled down from above. Not one dragon. Many voices speaking as one. Present the anomaly. The hunters immediately lowered their heads. The mother dragon stiffened. Elias felt his legs weaken. The council was not here physically, but their power pressed down like gravity. The blue hatchling looked up at the red sky. For the first time, it did not look small. It looked ancient. I'm not your mistake, it said calmly. The red clouds darkened. You carry forbidden memory. The hatchling's answer was simple. So do you. The storm exploded back into motion. Winds howled violently. The hunters moved toward the hatchling again. This time not slowly, not carefully, to capture, to deliver. Elias grabbed the hatchling before they could reach it. It was light, too light. He held it against his chest. If you want it, he shouted into the storm, you come through me again. The hunters roared together. The council's voice became sharper. Human interference confirmed. The red symbol shifted. A new command formed in the sky. Eliminate the human. The mother dragon moved instantly. She stepped between Elias and the hunters. Her wings spread wide. No. One word, but it shook the cliff. The hunters stared at her in disbelief. You would defy the council? Her answer came slowly. Yes. Lightning struck the cliff beside them. The blue flame burst brighter than ever before. And for the first time, the hatchling did not look like something that needed protection. It looked like something the entire planet should fear. The forbidden bond. The storm did not calm. It grew worse. Red light and blue light mixed in the sky like two enemies fighting. The Dragon Council's symbols burned inside the clouds. The command still echoed. Eliminate the human. Elias held the small dragon tightly against his chest. Its body was warm now. Too warm. The blue flame under its scales was spreading like glowing veins. The 300 dragons moved at the same time. Fast. Deadly. The mother dragon roared and blocked them again. Her massive wings slammed against one hunter, throwing it back across the cliff. But she could not fight all of them, and she knew it. The council's voice returned, colder than before. You protect corruption. The mother's reply shook the ground. I protect my child. The hunters attacked together. Claws crashed against scales. Fire exploded across the rocks. Elias stumbled back, almost falling off the cliff. The hatchling looked up at him. Its blue eyes were no longer fading. They were clear, focused. You cannot carry me, it said inside his mind. I'm not leaving you, Elias answered. The hatchling studied him for a long second. Then it asked something strange. Do you trust me? Elias did not hesitate. Yes. The blue flame suddenly moved from the hatchling's body. Into him. Elias screamed. Not from pain. From energy. His veins lit up with blue light. He dropped to his knees as visions attacked his mind again. But this time they were clearer, stronger. He saw the first blue dragon in history. He saw a human standing beside it, their hands touching fire without burning. He saw an ancient bond, not ownership, not control, partnership. The truth hit him like thunder. Blue flame dragons were never meant to rule alone. They were meant to bond with humans. That was the secret erased from history. That was the memory the council feared. Back on the cliff, the hunters suddenly froze. They felt it. The energy had changed. The blue flame was no longer just inside the hatchling. It was connected, linked. The hatchling stood on its small legs. Its broken wing slowly began to mend. Not fully, but enough. Elias stood up slowly too, blue light still moving under his skin. He was not burning. He was not dying. He felt stronger. Not physically, but inside, like something ancient had opened a locked door in his soul. The council's symbols in the sky cracked. Their voice returned, now mixed with something new. Concern. The bond is forbidden. The hatchling stepped forward beside Elias. No, it said calmly. It is forgotten. The hunters backed away slightly. They were warriors, but this was something older than war. The mother dragon looked at Elias carefully. You feel it now, she said. He nodded slowly. It's not power, he replied. It's connection. The council roared in anger. Blue flame belongs to dragon kind alone. The hatchling looked up at the red sky. If that was true, it said quietly, why can he hold it? Silence. Even the storm paused for a breath. The red symbols in the clouds began to shift shape, changing, reforming. The council was not just angry now. They were afraid. One hunter dragon suddenly lunged forward again, desperate. It aimed directly for Elias. If the human died, the bond would break. But before it could reach him, Elias moved, not like a trained soldier, not like a warrior, like instinct guided him. He raised his hand. Blue fire burst out. It did not burn the hunter. It stopped it. A wall of pure blue energy blocked the attack. The hunter slammed into it and fell back, stunned. Elias stared at his glowing hand in shock. I didn't mean to do that. The hatchling spoke gently inside his mind. You did not create it. You accepted it. The council's voice became louder. Human and dragon cannot share flame. The hatchling answered with quiet strength. Then why does it feel whole? The blue light expanded outward from both of them. Not destroying, not attacking, spreading. Every dragon on the cliff felt it. Every human in the mining station felt something strange in their chest. A pull, a memory they did not know they had. The mother dragon lowered her head slowly. It is true, she whispered. The old stories were not lies. The red sky darkened violently. The council made its final decision. If the bond cannot be broken, the clouds began to swirl into a massive vortex. We will erase both. Lightning struck the cliff directly. The ground split. Rocks began to fall into the abyss below. The hunters retreated into the sky. The mother dragon spread her wings to shield Elias and the hatchling from falling debris. The hatchling looked up calmly at the storm. They will come themselves now, it said. Elias swallowed. The council? Yes. Far above the planet's surface, enormous shapes began moving inside the clouds. Bigger than the hunters. Older, slower, and far more dangerous. The true rulers of dragonkind were descending. The hatchling turned to Elias one more time. Its voice was steady. When they arrive, they will not see a child. Blue flames surrounded them both completely now. They will see a threat. The first massive shadow broke through the red clouds, and the real war began. The council descends. The sky did not just open. It tore apart. Red clouds twisted like something was forcing its way through from another world. The storm bent outward in a perfect circle above the cliff. Then the first ancient dragon appeared. It was larger than anything Elias had ever seen. Its scales were not red, not black. They were deep crimson, almost glowing like hot metal. Its wings moved slowly, but each movement pushed the clouds away for miles. Then a second shape emerged. Then a third. The Dragon Council had come in physical form. The air became heavy, hard to breathe. Elias dropped to one knee without meaning to. The pressure in his chest felt like gravity had doubled. The hatchling did not kneel. It stood beside him, blue flames surrounding its small body like quiet armor. The mother dragon lowered her head fully to the ground. Even the hunter dragons landed and bowed. The largest council dragon landed last. When its claws touched the cliff, the stone cracked. Its eyes were ancient gold, older than war, older than memory. It looked first at the hatchling, then at Elias, then at the blue fire connecting them. Its voice did not enter their minds gently. It struck like thunder. "You dare awaken what we buried?" The hatchling answered calmly. "You buried truth." The council dragon's eyes narrowed. "We buried survival." Silence spread across the cliff. Wind stopped again. The red glow in the sky dimmed slightly. The council dragon stepped closer. Each step shook the ground. "Blue flame brought unity once," it said. "Unity brought trust. Trust brought betrayal. Betrayal brought extinction." Elias forced himself to stand again. His legs were shaking. "But you survived," he said quietly. The massive golden eye shifted toward him. "Yes," the dragon answered, "by choosing strength over hope." The words felt cold, heavy. The hatchling's blue fire pulsed brighter. "Strength without hope is fear." That sentence echoed deeper than any roar. For a moment, something flickered in the ancient dragon's eyes. Then it disappeared. The second council dragon moved forward. Its scales were dark silver, almost like the hatchling's. "Human," it said, "release the bond." Elias felt the blue energy flowing through him. It was not forcing him. It was not controlling him. It felt like a shared heartbeat. "I can't," he said. "You will die." "Maybe." The cliff trembled. The third council dragon opened its wings wide. "Then both species will suffer for your defiance." At that moment, alarms screamed from the human mining station below. Military ships rose into the sky. Weapons powered up. Humans had seen the council descend. They thought it was an attack. War was seconds away. The hatchling looked toward the ships. "They are afraid," it said softly. Elias looked up too. "If they fire, this planet burns." The council dragon lifted its head toward the ships. Its chest began to glow red. One breath from it could destroy every human vessel in the sky. The hunters tensed. The mother dragon looked between both sides. Everything was about to explode. The hatchling stepped forward. Small, fragile, standing between empires. It spread its tiny wings. The broken one trembled but held. Then it did something no dragon had done in centuries. It roared. Not loud, not violent, but pure. The sound was blue. The fire that came from its mouth did not burn the sky. It expanded upward like a shield. The red glow from the council met the blue flame in midair. Instead of exploding, they merged. Red and blue twisted together. The sky turned purple. Every dragon froze. Every human pilot stopped moving. The energy did not destroy. It revealed. Suddenly, every being on that battlefield saw the same vision. Dragons flying beside human ships again. Not as rulers, not as pets, but equals. The war that destroyed them. The fear that followed. The lie that unity was weakness. The vision ended. The sky returned to red and blue. But something had changed. The largest council dragon stared at the hatchling in silence. "You show the memory without permission," it said. The hatchling answered quietly. "You erased it without consent." The ancient dragon stepped closer again. Its shadow covered Elias completely. "If we allow this bond," it said slowly, "we lose control." The hatchling's blue eyes glowed steadily. "Control is not peace." That line hit harder than fire. The human ships above did not fire. The dragons did not attack. For the first time in centuries, no one moved. Then something unexpected happened. The silver-scaled council dragon lowered its head slightly. Not fully, but enough to show doubt. "The bond stabilizes the flame," it murmured. The third council dragon growled in anger. "It destabilizes order." The mother dragon stepped forward carefully. "Order built on fear will always break." The cliff trembled again, but this time not from attack, from division. The council was not united, and that was more dangerous than war. The largest dragon turned its golden eyes back to Elias. "You carry flame without burning," it said. "Why?" Elias looked down at his glowing hands, then at the hatchling beside him. I didn't take it, he said. I listened. The wind began to move again. Slow, gentle. The blue flame around them softened, but did not fade. The council dragon lifted its wings halfway. This is not over, it declared. The bond will be tested. The sky above them darkened again, but this time not red, not blue, black. Something deeper than the council stirred beyond the clouds. Older than dragons, older than humans. The hatchling looked upward. For the first time, it looked uncertain. Elias felt it too. The shared heartbeat between them shifted. The council dragon spoke one final sentence before taking to the sky. You have awakened more than memory. The ancient dragons rose back into the clouds. The hunters followed. The storm did not leave. It waited. Elias looked down at the hatchling. What do we wake up? The small dragon's blue eyes dimmed slightly. Its answer was almost a whisper. Something that fears unity more than the council does. Far above the planet, two massive eyes opened in the darkness between stars. And they were not dragon eyes. The silence between stars. The storm did not end when the council left. It changed. The clouds above Virex, 9 stopped moving like normal weather. They began moving like something breathing. Slow, deep, watching. Elias stood on the broken cliff, the blue flame still flowing softly under his skin. The hatchling stood beside him, smaller now, quieter, but not weaker. The mother dragon looked up at the sky. Her voice was low. That presence, it is not dragon. Elias felt it too. The bond between him and the hatchling trembled slightly, like a heartbeat skipping. Far above the planet, beyond the red clouds, space itself looked darker. Not night, not shadow, dark like something was blocking the stars. Then every machine in the human mining station shut down at once. Lights flickered out. Ships in the sky lost power. They began to fall. Panic filled the air. Human pilots shouted over broken radios. Dragon wings struggled against strange, invisible pressure. It felt like gravity was shifting. The hatchling suddenly stepped forward. Its blue eyes widened. It found us. Elias felt cold. Found who? The bond. The words hit hard. The mother dragon turned sharply toward the hatchling. You knew. The small dragon did not look away from the sky. Not fully. The clouds above split open silently this time. No thunder. No fire. Just silence. And from that silence, a shape appeared. It was not a dragon. It had no wings, no scales. It looked like moving darkness shaped into something almost alive. Long, endless. Its surface shimmered like broken glass floating in space. When it moved, the stars behind it disappeared. Elias felt his breath leave his body. What is that? The mother dragon's answer was filled with something dragons rarely showed. Fear. That is why the blue flame was buried. The dark shape did not roar. It did not make sound. It bent space around it. Then a voice entered every mind on the planet at once. Not loud, not angry, empty. Unity detected. The hatchling's blue flame flickered. Elias felt pressure in his skull. The voice continued. Correction required. Human ships began falling faster. Dragon wings folded against their will. The invisible force pushed everything downward. The dark being was not attacking with fire. It was removing energy, draining it. The hatchling whispered inside Elias's mind. It feeds on connection. Elias tightened his fists. That makes no sense. It does, the hatchling answered. Division weakens life. Unity strengthens it. Strength attracts it. The truth crashed into him. The ancient enemy did not fear dragons. It did not fear humans. It feared both together. The Dragon Council had not erased unity because of betrayal. They erased it because unity called this thing. The dark being shifted slightly closer to the planet. The sky dimmed further. Plants below began to wither. Oceans stilled. Life itself felt quieter. The voice spoke again. Blue flame anomaly confirmed. Erasure initiated. A thin line of black light shot downward from the creature. It aimed directly at Elias and the hatchling. The mother dragon leaped forward instantly. She released a full blast of red flame at the beam. It slowed the attack, but did not stop it. The red fire was swallowed like smoke in water. The hatchling stepped in front of Elias this time. "No," Elias said. The hatchling looked back at him. "You trusted me." The black beam struck the blue flame. Instead of exploding, it froze. Blue and black pressed against each other, neither moving, neither winning. Elias felt pain in his chest. The bond was under attack, not burning, unraveling. The dark voice returned. "Separation solves conflict." The hatchling's voice pushed back, calm but strained. "Separation creates it." The beam intensified. Cracks formed in the blue shield. Elias dropped to one knee again. He could feel the dark force trying to pull the bond apart, trying to convince him. "You are human. It is dragon. This is unnatural." For a split second, doubt entered his heart. The blue flame weakened. The dark beam pushed harder. The hatchling cried out softly, not in fear, in warning. "Do not let go." Elias closed his eyes. He remembered the first word he heard. "Help." He remembered the hatchling asking, "Do you trust me?" He remembered choosing to stop, choosing to listen, choosing connection. He opened his eyes again. "I'm not letting go," he said firmly. The blue flame exploded outward, not larger, deeper. It wrapped around the black beam instead of fighting it. The dark beam paused. The voice changed slightly. Adaptation detected. For the first time, the ancient creature adjusted. It pulled back slightly, studying. The dragon council reappeared in the clouds, watching silently. They did not attack. They did not interfere. This was beyond their power. The hatchling's voice softened inside Elias's mind. It cannot understand sacrifice. The black entity shifted again. Its massive shape circled the planet slowly, testing, probing. Then it spoke one final sentence. Full erasure postponed. Observation initiated. The pressure lifted instantly. Ships regained power. Dragons regained flight. The sky returned, but the stars still looked dim. The dark being did not leave. It moved farther into orbit. Watching, waiting. Elias collapsed onto the stone, breathing heavily. The blue flame faded to a soft glow. The hatchling sat beside him quietly. The mother dragon stared upward. "It will return stronger," she said. The largest council dragon's voice echoed faintly from the clouds. "You have drawn the attention of something older than our kind." Elias looked at the hatchling. "So what do we do?" The small dragon's blue eyes reflected the stars above. Now dim, now threatened. Its answer was simple. "We become stronger together." High above Virex. 9. The dark entity's shape shifted again. Learning, evolving, preparing. And for the first time in history, dragons and humans shared the same enemy. The rise of the blue flame. The dark presence did not attack again. It waited. Above Virex. 9. The stars remained dim, like the sky was holding its breath. The black shape circled the planet slowly, watching, learning, preparing. On the broken cliff, dragons and humans stood in uneasy silence. For the first time in history, they were not looking at each other as enemies. They were looking up at the same threat. The largest council dragon spoke first. Its ancient golden eyes moved from Elias to the hatchling. "The entity feeds on division," it said slowly, "and fears unity." The words felt heavy. The council had erased unity to survive, but survival had only delayed the danger. The hatchling stepped forward, small, silver scales shining softly, blue light glowing steady beneath them. "We cannot hide again," it said calmly. The mother dragon lowered her head. "If we unite, it grows stronger." The hatchling looked up at her. "If we divide, it wins." Silence. The truth was simple and terrifying. Far above, the dark entity shifted closer to the planet. This time, it did not send a small beam. It opened. Its body split into thousands of thin black lines stretching across space like a web. Each line reached toward different parts of the planet, toward dragon nests, toward human cities, toward oceans, toward forests. A voice entered every mind again. Final correction begins. The sky went black. Not night, not storm, total absence of light. Human ships powered up again, but their engines flickered. Dragon wings beat against heavy air. The web of darkness began pulling energy from everywhere at once. Plants withered instantly. Ocean waves froze. Fire refused to burn. Elias felt the bond shake violently. The hatchling stumbled slightly. "It is draining life itself," Elias said. The council dragon roared loudly. "All dragons, take flight." Hundreds of dragons rose into the dark sky. Red flames shot upward. Gold flames followed. Silver lightning breath cracked across the clouds. But the black web absorbed everything. No explosion. No damage. Just silence. Human ships fired next. Energy cannons lit the darkness. Missiles tore through the sky. Nothing worked. The web swallowed all of it. The dark voice returned. Conflict ineffective. Elias looked at the hatchling. What does it not understand? The hatchling closed its glowing blue eyes. It does not understand choice. Elias frowned. What choice? The hatchling opened its eyes again. Connection must be willing. The web tightened around the planet. Cracks formed across the cliff. Dragons began falling from the sky, too weak to hold flight. Human ships lost power again. Fear spread fast. The council dragon landed heavily beside Elias. "Blue flame," it growled. "If unity is your answer, prove it." Elias felt the weight of every eye on him. Dragon, human, enemy, ally. The hatchling stepped closer to him. Its voice was soft but clear. They must choose it, not be forced. Elias looked at the humans below through the darkness. They were afraid. He looked at the dragons above. They were proud, suspicious, still divided inside. The web pulled tighter. The dark entity spoke again. Separation restores balance. Elias suddenly understood. It was not just draining energy. It was pulling at fear, making it stronger. He turned toward the council dragon. "You erased unity once," he said loudly. "Now you have to allow it." The ancient dragon stared at him. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then slowly, the largest council dragon lowered its head. Not in defeat, in decision. "All dragons," it roared across the planet. "Lower your flames." Every dragon hesitated. Then one by one, they obeyed. Fire disappeared. Wings folded. They stopped fighting. The humans watched in shock. Elias grabbed a communication device from a fallen pilot. He spoke into it. "Stop firing." Static filled the line. Then silence. The web tightened once more, confused. "Why do you cease resistance?" The hatchling stepped forward into the center of the cliff. Blue flame rose softly around it. Not as a weapon, as a signal. Elias stood beside it. He did not raise fire. He simply placed his hand on the hatchling's head. One dragon slowly stepped closer. Then another. The mother dragon moved beside them. Soon dozens of dragons formed a circle. Below, human soldiers stepped forward too. They removed helmets, lowered weapons, stood side by side with dragons. Not touching, but not attacking. The blue flame expanded gently. It connected dragon to dragon, human to human, then dragon to human. Not forced, invited. The web of darkness trembled. The entity spoke again, but its voice sounded less certain. Unified signal increasing. The blue light grew brighter, not burning energy, creating it. The more beings accepted the connection, the stronger it became. The web began to dissolve where blue light touched it. Not destroyed, unraveled. The dark entity shifted violently in orbit. Unity generates instability. The hatchling's voice echoed across the battlefield. Unity generates life. The blue flame exploded upward in a massive beam. It pierced the dark sky, not attacking the entity, reaching beyond it, calling something deeper. The stars above flickered back on one by one. The black shape began breaking apart, not in pain, in confusion. It could not feed on willing connection. It could not survive where fear was not dominant. Its final words echoed faintly. Adaptation required. Then it retreated, pulling its web back into the void between stars. The sky slowly returned. Clouds faded. Stars shone brighter than ever before. Dragons landed quietly. Humans stared upward in silence. The bond between Elias and the hatchling softened but did not disappear. The council dragon stepped forward one last time. You have changed our future, it said. The hatchling looked at Elias. Elias looked back. You heard me, the hatchling said softly. Elias smiled slightly. You said help. The mother dragon folded her wings. The council dragons did not bow, but they did not command either. For the first time, dragon and human stood on equal ground. Above them, the stars burned brighter. But far in deep space, a faint shadow still moved, watching, learning, waiting for another mistake. The hatchling looked up at the sky. Its blue eyes were calm. This was only the beginning. And this time, no one ignored the cry.